from former members and leaders of Mkondo Isizwe because of a correct observation that in its current configuration and direction, majority of MK members, including those that remain, they are not pleased with the manner in which the organization is run. That is a fact that defines a lot of members. A lot of people had trusted that this is an organization that is going to come in to be a replacement of the disappearing and dissipating former liberation movement, the ANC. But in its current configuration, the MK is not a viable vehicle to fight the battles of the people of South Africa. I did say in several occasions, and I'll stick by that, that the relationship between myself and President Zuma is a respectful relationship which will remain as such forever. We'll always respect President Zuma. The office of President Zuma and the people that work through him and the people that we sometimes communicate through when he cannot talk to me directly have on several occasions since the 19th of June's press conference said that President Zuma is asking for a meeting. And then I indicated that it will not be possible to go to meet with him in KwaDunusa because there were several meetings and engagements which we had here in Gauteng, and indicated that if or when we finish this process, I will not have a problem to go and appraise President Zuma that we are in a process of consultation. And this consultation might culminate in formation of a political party or a movement. I did say that this is not some secretive engagement. It's not an underground movement. It's an open engagement of persuasion in terms of how to move forward. And no one must feel guilty to be associated with this process. We will appraise him and we'll tell him the reasons why we think that the MK in its current configuration can be a trusted weapon in the hands of the people of South Africa. And it's not a critic that we are saying in secret, we're not gossiping. We can write perspectives. We can give even far much more deeper confidential information as to why an organization in its current configuration can't lead a liberation project. It's not a secret talk. It's an open talk which will raise with him that this is what is, and he's aware of the dynamics that I had played. And majority of members of the organization know that the internal dynamics inhibit it or makes it impossible for it to be a fighting instrument as a collective. There can't be a movement that will fight for people's liberation if it is not defined by a deep sense of internal discipline and stability. There can't be a movement that can fight for true freedom if it's not transparent and accountable. There can be a liberation project that is led by a family. There can be a democratic liberation project that is not a unitary formation with democratic centralism. Never. How are you going to process, how are you going to provide collective guidance? Because you will leave a meeting and think that you have agreed on a perspective of how we move forward. And then the family sit over dinner and say, no, those decisions that they've taken are nonsense. And that time, we are busy communicating to structures that, no, next week we are going to start a new campaign on how we are going to respond to crime. Then they say, no, leave these things of crime. It's not priority. Let's focus on Morocco. So that, like, you can't have an instrument like that as a fighting instrument. And that is honesty. It's critique that we will give openly. It's not, if there's one thing which we not afraid of is to talk. So with President Zuma, any day, any time, There's one or two things that you will have a different appreciation of. But one thing that will never happen is to abandon this process of consultation. That one will never do. This one will never change. We're going to listen to the people of South Africa, and if our qualitative and quantitative assessment is that we should form a political party or a political movement, we're going to do so. Even when we do so, we will inform him officially that we're not fighting with you, we're not fighting with MK. You can continue doing what you're doing. We're going to do what we think is right for the people of South Africa. That is the approach that we're going to deal with. I don't know what is this thing of saying, no, there's no time, there's no money and everything else. I'm not doing this for the first time. Yeah, not doing it for the first time. Issued a statement for the clarion call for the formation of the EFF on the 11th of June 2013. Launched it on the 26th, 27th July in Soweto, Uncle Tom's Hall. Launched it publicly in Marikana in October 13. And before even the organization was 12 months of announcement, it was contesting elections on the 7th of May 2014 and received 1.1 million votes. And that, of course, was part of the collective effort in terms of the work that was done. So I'm not unfamiliar to this territory. We have got more than 12 months to prepare for local government elections. If we were to agree on